And in a shock move, Mark McGowan has stepped down as WA Premier and member for Rockingham because of burnout. After almost 30 years in politics and more than 6 years in the top job, this will be his last week in office. McGowan says he's loved the role and the challenge, but doesn't have the energy to continue.
I'm exhausted. The role of political leadership doesn't stop. It's relentless. It comes with huge responsibility that is all-consuming each and every day.
Oliver Peterson's a presenter at 6PR in Perth and joins us now. Oliver, how's the WA community reacting? Did anyone see this coming?
Massive shock, Waleed. Nobody had any idea that this was going to happen. It wasn't on our bingo card when we woke up this morning to think that Mark McGowan was going to quit any time in the near future. He was a walk-up start for the next 30 years, the way he's going. Because you've got to remember, it's a 59-seat parliament. The opposition's only 6 members of that parliament. So Mark McGowan has complete control and power in Western Australia. He's a rock star at over 90% popularity. He could have been in the job for as long as he wanted to be in the job. So today, West Australians are shocked. They're surprised he's not going to be the Premier by the end of the week.
Well, hang on, he was the most popular politician in the country during COVID, but that popularity did start to wane a little bit. I mean, there's still rock star numbers at 63%. What was the reason behind that?
Well, he was so popular because ultimately Western Australians lived a very free and normal life during those 2 or 3 years of the pandemic. I mean, you might think it was almost a free-range prison farm here in WA. You couldn't leave, you couldn't get in, but we had the freedom of movement here in WA. So any time you had an East Coast Premier having a crack at WA, it just resolved the West Australian people to say, bugger off the eastern states, we will do what we want to do. And it just really made Mark McGowan even more powerful and even more popular amongst the West Australian community. The FMs, for example, they refer to him as State Daddy. People called Mark McGowan State Daddy. Who calls a politician State Daddy? But that's how loved he was over this side of the country. I know a lot of people in the eastern states disagree, but Mark McGowan, the most popular person in Western Australia.
So, Ollie, what next for McGowan? Federal politics, Governor-General, coach of the West Coast Eagles? Which one?
Well, Pricey, Mark McGowan can write whatever job description he wants. I'm sure there are plenty of business operators today looking at the potential recruitment of somebody like Mark McGowan, because he would have to be Australia's most successful politician, regardless of what we think of his politics. The fact that he commanded such a massive victory just 2 years ago to wipe an opposition to within just 6 seats, Mark McGowan can write whatever chapter he wants next.
What about taking over from Koshy? It's all pretty suspicious timing, don't you think?
He could do that if he wanted. He could do that. Mark McGowan could be the new co-host of Sunrise. I wouldn't be surprised.
Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Pleasure.